So Avengers Doomsday reportedly is going to be the most expensive, not only Marvel movie ever made, but the most expensive movie Disney has ever produced ever. They're talking like $700 million.
Yeah, which is why I said the other day when we were doing the video, from everything I had heard, the budget was so high, they're going to have to make like well over $1 billion just to break even.
Well over. And I mean, we're living in a time right now where Disney doesn't know if they're going to make any more Avatar movies because the last one only made, what was it, like 1.5 billion or something? Only.
And their budget wasn't as high.
And their budget wasn't as high. So I don't know if they're taking that budget and spreading it out over Doomsday and Secret Wars. Now they're talking they might do 2 Secret Wars. Who the hell knows? But that is a ridiculous amount of money. Now, look, I'm not saying that this movie isn't going to make money. They're pulling out all the stops, trying to bring everybody back, bringing in characters from other parts of the Marvel universe, comic accurate costumes. That's definitely gonna bring people to the theater.
You can bring a lot of money, but the amount that you would need to break even is so high.
Yes.
That even if you make a lot of money, that doesn't mean you're going to make any money. And I don't think it's going to be as much as, like they said, 2 times the budget because you figure marketing, all that. I don't think it's going to need to make twice as much because I don't think they're going to spend that much on marketing. I mean, they are, but not like it's no more so than they normally would. So what they're going to there's going to be in the residuals, the theater splits and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to have to do twice as much, but it's going to have to make well over $1 billion to break even. No question. If the $700 million budget is true.
If it's true. Now, we'll talk about this. I mean, I have no doubt, just given the number of people and the number of characters, that this movie is going to be expensive as hell. Because it's already
also be convoluted as hell.
That is my concern. I'm like, is it just going to be like an endless parade of cameos? And yeah, I don't know.
It worked for Deadpool and Wolverine because that's kind of like the joke. It was like a jokey film, and that works in that regard. But something like this that you're trying to play off as another Avengers film, I don't think it's going to work in the same ways that you can get away with it for things like, Deadpool and Wolverine.
So we'll talk about this, and then we're going to talk about some of the stops that Disney might be pulling out to try to recoup their money on this, including re-releasing Endgame again now with pivotal footage you need to watch if you need to, if you want to understand what the hell is going on in Doomsday, which is just a huge cash grab, and also their IMAX competitor, but not really. We're going to talk about that.
Stupid. And I think that's what they're trying. I think they're doing it to try to get more money from tickets to try to offset the losses.
Yeah, and again, this is because they're not getting the IMAX screens. That's going to Dune 3.
Dune 3. For at least 3 weeks. It's exclusive to Dune 3. Now, other countries are going to get IMAX with Marvel, but they already had a deal in play and they wouldn't give Disney their own way. So now Disney's going to do this. We're going to do our own Infinity Vision certification on theaters that already have these things to begin with or have to pay to upgrade to get our imaginary certification we just made up for our movies.
All right, so let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Okay, so this is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney.
Yes.
I guess.
This is just a whole mess.
I knew this movie was going to be expensive. I did not realize it was going to be this expensive, right?
I mean, that's the reported. I want to make sure it's clear.
Reported.
That's the rumored amount. I've heard, it was high, very high.
So the rumor is coming from John Campea. So take it up with John Campea if you don't like the rumor, and it's actually being reported by Geeky Tyrant, which is not an alt-right comic book site. So take it up with them. But according to vetted media sources and insiders, John Campea shared what he's been hearing behind the scenes, saying the film's production budget is sitting around $400 million. Okay, so that figure might not even include reshoots. On top of that, Stu is reportedly preparing to drop another $300 million on marketing.
Okay, so it won't be, like I said, I don't think the marketing is going to be as much. I don't think it's going to be 2 times, is what I said.
$700 million out of the gate. So they're already
you're talking at least $1 billion to break even.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, $700 million is about what Superman made in its entire run.
Well,
so that's a lot of money.
If they're rolling in the $300 million marketing on the $400 million budget, then that means $700 million would include the marketing, so it wouldn't be 2 times. But you can't use the multiplication times 2 because that's usually to cover the marketing. And they're saying 300 million of that 700 is already the marketing. So you're still going to have a lot of other expenses on top of it, probably like residuals, theater cuts, all that. So you're going to probably raise it up. It's going to be definitely over $1 billion. It needs to break even. But if the number of 400 million is right and the 300 million is the marketing, then you wouldn't have to multiply it times 2 because the marketing is already included in that number.
Yeah, I mean, this one, just because of the cameos, is easily going to make $1 billion. I'd be shocked.
Probably, but it's going to need probably like over $1 billion just to break even. I don't think it's going to necessarily need 1.5 billion to break even, but it's going to need definitely more than $1 billion to break even. Maybe 1.2, 1.3.
Now, Rob Liefeld, who has been very critical of Marvel as of late, is even saying it's too big to fail. I mean, they would have to completely drop the ball. Maybe they will. I don't know. The only concern I have is that so far the anticipation is lacking, right? Like it just, I don't know. We're seeing a lot of outlets actually kind of preemptively turning on. We haven't seen the trailer yet, but people are even kind of like, we've done this already. You know, so why are we bringing Robert Downey Jr. back? Why are we?
Well, they are, and I think the whole like when they announced that they're going to re-release Avengers Endgame with some new footage in to tie it to Doomsday. Okay, here's a couple of reasons why I think they're doing that. All right, I think they're doing that one because they're trying to get they're trying to make people think that you have to go see it. Why would they make people think they have to go see it? Because they released Doomsday footage in Endgame, then they could take some of that money and say, oh, that was Doomsday money.
Right.
And why are they doing this new theatrical thing, which we're going to talk about more? Well, because you can charge more for those tickets in those theaters because you can put a label on it Disney pulled out of their ass. And then they can get more money because they have to make money everywhere they can. So they're going to probably take from the re-release of Endgame and try to claim some of that money towards Doomsday, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to scrape the change out of the couch cushions, I think, on this one. Because, I mean, here's the thing. Like, even if they make a shit ton of money on this movie, they're still having to dig themselves out of the hole with the other Marvel movies that didn't do that great. See also the layoffs. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not naive enough to, say that this one's not going to make money, right? I mean,
I think it's gonna do big numbers, but it doesn't mean that's all money that's going to be a lot of profit.
I'm looking again at the Avatar situation, right? People were like going in Avatar 3. Now it could be because they kind of shot the load on Avatar 2. People were like, okay, we went to go see a new Avatar movie for the first time in whatever 15 years or whatever it was. But with Avatar 3, it was still a big movie, but it was like it wasn't big enough. And it's to the point now where they're like, we don't know if it's worth making another Avatar movie because this one only did $1.5 billion.
Yeah, it did $1.5 billion, but it still made a lot of money because their budget was way less than this.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing, because I think they're spreading the budget over the course of multiple movies. That's what they do with Avatar. 2 and 3 were shot back to back.
So I just think that one's going to be, even if that wasn't profitable enough, and I still think it's gonna profit more than this one might. And I don't know. We'll see how it does in theaters, but I think this is why Disney's pulling out all this bullshit, like their new Infinity Vision. Because as we said, IMAX already had a deal in place for Dune 3, and they wouldn't remove Dune 3 to put Endgame because they're both releasing on the same, or Doomsday. I mean, they're both releasing on the same day, December 18th. Right. Both of them are on the same day. So they're really calling it Doomsday, or what they're calling it. It's kind of like
Doomsday.
They're calling it Doomsday. Anyway, so they wouldn't give Disney what they wanted. So Disney's like, fine then. And what they're doing is they're slapping this Infinity Vision label on theaters that are already have these benchmarks in place they're already high def theaters. They're offering similar experiences to IMAX without the big screen. And they're just basically saying, if you have those things in play, we'll just give you a label that says, we certify you as Infinity Vision. They literally pulled this out of their ass.
So it's like the Nintendo seal of quality from the 80s.
Kind of. It's like they just pulled this out of their ass to slap on movies. You paid the licensing
fee. Here's the
Probably. You probably have to pay to use it. So they don't spend a penny. If theaters want to be counted in this, they have to meet those benchmarks and pay money to upgrade their theater. And then to slap a Disney made-up label on it so that they can try to say, okay, it's just as good as IMAX. Come to our theater. We're going to charge you a whole shit ton more for the tickets, too. And that's what this is about.
are the screens bigger? Because if the screens aren't bigger, it's not IMAX.
They already are kind of bigger screens. These are theaters that already have like that higher end screen experience, but they're not like IMAX. And that's what even I'll talk about it in a minute. Polygon called it out, but yeah, they want the premium large format. So they already have big screens, but not IMAX level usually. And they said that what they want is the largest screens for maximum scale, laser projection for superior brightness and clarity, premium audio formats for fully immersive sound. And that's what they're demanding. And if the studios already have those things, you probably can pay a fee to get the licensed, Infinity Vision slapped on it to be the IMAX, just as good as IMAX, because Disney said so, but it's their movies. And the very first movie going to be rolled out with this new experience is Endgame.
Yeah.
Re-release. And then this is for Doomsday, because Doomsday didn't get IMAX. And they wanted that IMAX money where you could charge more for the premium experience. Polygon even called it out, saying naturally responses have been mixed. Some film fans mocking the move. After all, tagging pre-existing PLF theaters with a Disney-approved stamp isn't inherently doing anything outside of a general branding move, so they can charge more. Fans are concerned about increased prices based entirely around marketing hype rather than actual quality. You're basically getting the same movie you could watch a movie that didn't have the brand on it 1 week and probably pay a lot less than what's going to cost there's a brand slapped on it, and then Disney gets a cut.
Yeah, and that's because they got to make a ridiculous amount of money.
Yes, because of the Avengers, because Doomsday.
I don't know. I mean, look, it might do $2 billion. I have no idea. I'm honestly at this point, I don't know what to think, because Deadpool and Wolverine, I knew was going to do good. I didn't think it was going to do that good.
That's Deadpool and Wolverine. Everybody wanted Deadpool and Wolverine team-up movie, a buddy cop movie for years. Yeah. There was a huge demand for it, and they never thought they were going to get it. That's the difference. There's way more demand for that than there is for this.
And I have to wonder, too, Marvel is not in the best place right now. The Deadpool and Wolverine were easily accessible because really all the homework you had to do was watch the X-Men movies or be somewhat familiar with the X-Men movies. Even, Deadpool, you didn't have to watch Deadpool 1 and 2. You could just get into this and just be like, it's Deadpool and Wolverine buddy cop movie. We get it. They pretty much explain everything. This one's going to be a whole nother, especially if you have to go back and watch Endgame again to understand what the hell's going on. But you don't have
to. That's stupid. We're going to put some, and they're doing it. We're going to put Doomsday stuff in it to help lead into Doomsday. And I'm like, you're just basically putting it in theaters again for us a cash grab. You're going to probably put Doomsday footage in it so you can claim that some of that money can go to the Doomsday budget because it's so fucking expensive. And they're trying to offset it.
I'm just picturing the extra footage as being they're cloning, let's dig up Tony Stark's body and clone it. It's in a secret lab somewhere. It's it's no Doomsday.
That's the other thing I hear. They're doing what Star Wars is doing, and they're trying to rely on what did people like for years in the movies. They don't like our when Disney started having to do their own stuff. They like the old stuff. So let's go back and get Chris Evans. Yeah. Go back and get, Robert Downey Jr. Go back and get these people that are supposed to go and pay Robert Downey Jr. a ridiculous amount of money to show up in this movie because they're just banking on people coming because they're mad those characters are gone or those actors are gone. Their stuff when they tried to change everything, it didn't work. It failed miserably. So they're trying to reboot everything by going back to what worked. Same as what Mandalorian Grogu's trying to do.
Yeah, this kind of feels look, I'm going to be honest. This, and I'm not saying the movie's going to be bad, but this kind of feels like a tacked on ending. It's like Star Wars, cool, we beat the Emperor, we destroyed the Empire, the end. And now they're but wait, no, we have to bring the Emperor back.
And then
that's what happened here.
Story game. Here's our story. And then you play a game with our kids where you'd be like, this happened. And then the kids would make up something. It was like bedtime stories. We actually did it before the movie, but that's what it is. And then we got to keep it going. Oh crap! They still have 5 minutes till they go to sleep. And then Tony came back, but he was evil. It was evil Tony. And somehow Tony Stark returned.
Tony Stark returned. I'm waiting for it to be. I'm trying to figure out if they're even going to address it or just be like, you just happen to look like Tony Stark. Well,
I'm sure it's going to be a plot point. I'm sure it is.
The Chris Evans Human Torch thing they addressed.
That was funny.
That was funny.
It works because it was a comedy. But you know what I'm saying? It's just they're doing whatever they can because they're making up labels now that people, and you're right, to get those, they're not going to hand them to your theater. You're going to have to probably pay a licensing fee too. I mean, this is the biggest, when they talk about grifting, Disney is like the masters.
They are the grift masters. All right. Are we going to wrap it up?
Yes.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.